This discussion of The Last of Us Part 2 may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Nerd Corporation.
All right, this is our spoiler-filled discussion of The Last of Us 2. It's just a simple, how did you feel, all the things that have come along with the game. We are joined by Nate Christensen. Say hello.
Hello. Let me get this out of the way before I say anything about this game. I work for PlayStation, and Sony provided me with a copy of the game.
Gotcha. Yeah, we have our very own PlayStation representative.
Let's get that out of the way so everyone, when they start calling me a Sony pony, because they will.
They will.
I work for them, so.
Hell yeah.
So he absolutely is a Sony pony.
In my defense, I was before they hired me.
So, The Last of Us 2, man, this game has a lot of people divided.
Jesus Christ. I don't think I've ever seen discourse like this around a title.
It's such a polarizing game for no reason, I feel.
Well, there's a few different reasons, I feel like. Are they good reasons? No. I mean, everything that we're going to say, I'm getting the feeling like all three of us are overwhelmingly positive on the title.
Yeah.
This is kind of something that I'm experimenting with, where I wanted to have Nathan on because I know that you were a really big fan of The Last of Us before you started working at Sony, and I'm pretty sure that that love carried over. And
the first game changed my life.
Yeah.
It legit changed my life. So
yeah.
it saved my life.
Yeah.
So I'm in for it. Naughty Dog games have consistently hit at the right time for me.
Yeah.
It's like they know my depression schedule, and they're like, "Hey, you're sad. Here's one of our games to make you happier."
Yep.
So it's a special game. The first one was a special game. This game is an incredibly special game. So I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's Naughty Dog has always, and for me personally, I always feel like Naughty Dog continues to raise the bar. And not only in terms of when you see a Naughty Dog game nowadays, you expect top tier visuals, top tier presentation, top tier music, top tier everything. You know what I mean? I feel like they always kind of push things a little bit further in terms of the medium as a whole. I feel like every time a Naughty Dog game comes out, it's an event. I think that they're as close to Rockstar's pedigree in terms of holy shit, it's a new game from these guys. It's a must play.
I agree with that 100%. I would put them above Rockstar for me personally. I don't like Rockstar games.
Yeah.
I think they tend to drag on a little too long, but that's my take. I think they're all great games. I bought GTA 5 day one. I loved it, but I got bored earlier than I wanted to with it. I've Red Dead 2 I hated, but that's a discussion for another day.
Whoa, that's a
That's a hot take.
That's a discussion for another day. We're here to talk about this masterpiece, not that one.
Of course.
Because that game is a masterpiece. I don't want to take anything away from Red Dead 2. It just wasn't for me.
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
So that just means that you're a level-headed adult that can have an adult conversation about something that they just didn't vibe with instead of calling it bad.
Right? I don't think Red Dead 2 is a bad game in any way, shape, or form. Ocarina of Time's a bad game, but...
Whoa, hey, hey, fuck you, pal. Turn the shit off.
Well, I guess that concludes our discussion.
I had to throw that one in for fun. No, I don't think Red Dead 2 is a bad game. It just didn't vibe with me. No, there are very good games out there that do not click with me, and that's okay. Yeah. It's okay to not like a video game, and that's what people that review bombed this game need to understand. Also, before you shit on a game, you should probably play it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You'd think that would be a given, but apparently in this day and age, it's not.
Yeah, it is not, because the amount of reviews that shit on that game, those people never played this game. They had no idea what they were talking about. They watched leaks and used that as their ammo, and that's all they needed.
And I feel like those, like, see, and that's the thing about this game is that those leaks were kind of integral in this polarization. Like, I think
Absolutely.
but on that same vein though, I think the leaks and the controversy around it helped sales. Like, I think it was like, oh well, let me see this garbage fire, but they still bought the game, you know what I mean?
And it did.
Yeah.
Do you remember how all those trolls said it was going to be the least successful first-party title of all time, and this game wasn't going to sell any copies, and the leaks were going to kill pre-orders, and yet it's the best-selling PlayStation exclusive of all time over the first 3 days of release.
Yeah.
So clearly, that did not affect it at all.
Yeah. No.
There's something lost in that translation.
If anything, we would have done 5 million instead of 4. Damn. That sucks.
Well, not only that, but there's also this article that I saw today that sales for this game are 80% down after the second week. And then, so that was its headline, right? Like, oh shit, the game's not selling nearly as well. You know, fucking dumpster fire, blah, 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 all these fucking trolls, new ammo, right? And then you actually go in and read the article and you say, and it says, just for example's sake, Uncharted 4 came out, did gangbusters its first week, and it dropped 75%. And wasn't that the game? Isn't that like second or third best-selling game on the PS4? I know Spider-Man and God of War are up there.
It was, so it went like before Last of Us, it was like Spider-Man, Uncharted, God of War, and then like Gran Turismo. It's always Gran Turismo.
Always.
It's always Gran Turismo.
Yes,
because Gran Turismo has that overseas market, and it absolutely crushes it. So,
yeah.
No, that is a very correct thing. Also, I did not think they could top Uncharted 4. I didn't. I was like, there's no way in hell this game's gonna be better than Uncharted 4 was.
In terms of sales or quality?
Quality. Like story, game, mostly gameplay. I didn't think they could, because that's my big knock with the first game, especially if you compare it to like Uncharted 3.
Oh, yeah.
It does not play near as well. And Uncharted 3 came out like 2 years beforehand.
Yeah.
But this game absolutely plays as well, if not better, than Uncharted 4 does. And that was the one thing that I was not ready for.
But Nathan, the jump button's just awful.
No, it's not.
The jump button's just awful.
Have you done a jump attack off a rope yet?
I have. I'm just impersonating trolls here.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were being serious about the jump attack.
No.
Not making fun of me.
I think it like, and that criticism just falls. It's just a moot point for me, because I'm like, okay, I mean, there was kind of a jump in the first one, and this is just kind of an elevation or it's like it's an evolution of what it was in the original game, because there was technically kind of a jump button in the first game. You just couldn't jump when you were stationary. And you can't jump when you're stationary in this game, but like when you're moving, like when you tilt the stick and press the X button, they do a funky little animation, but at the same time, they're not expecting you to do that. Like, I don't know.
A throwback to earlier in this conversation, did Red Dead Redemption 2 have a jump button?
No.
I didn't think so. Just saying. Okay. Let's get back on track.
Point Naughty Dog.
Well, not only that, but there's a lot of similarities, not in terms of like gameplay or anything, but like in terms of like the development of, like, they share a lot of things. Like a lot of controversy came out of Red Dead, out of Rockstar, and how, you know, all of this crunch time and all this shit affected their developers. And the same fucking thing happens to Naughty Dog, but Naughty Dog is the one that's getting blasted. But we just completely forgot about all the shit that happened with Rockstar. And not only that, the thing that fucking gets me fired up is the fact that everyone is like, oh yeah, absolutely. The thing that fires me the fuck up is that everyone's like, oh, I can't wait for the real game of the year, which is Cyberpunk. And I'm like, didn't CD Projekt Red have a bunch of fucking controversial articles come about them too, about crunch. I'm like, but you guys are not going to give them shit, huh? You're not going to give them shit because you're not playing as a fucking, like, insert your grievance here. Like, oh, Abby's too buff, or fucking Ellie's a lesbian, or whatever. Like, I just, the level of disconnect that these people have in terms of their criticism and what they will and won't allow, the double standards are fucking, they're astronomical, and it's just so fucking irritating, and it's mind-bending. And just to be a level-headed person on the outside watching all this shit happen, because you're sitting here going like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the game.
Yeah.
But I think that's not to deter Cyberpunk. I'm sure Cyberpunk's going to come out, and I'm sure it will be game of the fun.
I cannot wait for that game.
Yeah, neither can I.
I don't know if it can top it. It's going to be longer, obviously. And it's going to have some good moments, but it's also because the biggest problem I have with games like that are built to be that expansive is there are always chunks of time where I'm bored out of my goddamn mind. Unfortunately for Red Dead, it was the first 45 minutes of that game. It's incredibly boring. I would like to hope Cyberpunk can up that and be good from the jump, and then maybe slow down in the middle. And I'm not going to sit there and act like Last of Us 2 didn't have its drag moments, because it did, and I'm sure we're going to get into those. I don't want to get into that game too much yet. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I appreciate your fire, by the way. It means a lot to see somebody who's not attached to this game get that fired up about the idiots. So thank you for that, because it is frustrating, and it's frustrating when you can't fight back.
Yeah.
I have to be somewhat silent in a lot of situations, and it is infuriating to read things and not be able to say things, and that's why we need you guys. You guys are the warriors. You guys are out here talking your shit, and calling people out on their bullshit. So thank you for that.
Well, the main thing ever since because I actually got spoiled. I don't know if you've been listening to the podcast, but it was a couple podcasts ago where I was talking about how I got spoiled. I got spoiled by a Reddit username. Yeah.
Really?
A Reddit username. Not even on a PlayStation Reddit, not on a Last of Us Reddit. I got spoiled on a 350Z page. My car.
Was it Joel Dies? Was their username Joel Dies?
It was Tranny kills Joel. And
Tranny didn't kill Joel though.
Yeah, but at the time of those leaks, everyone was calling Abby a tranny.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'm like,
because she could kick the shit out of you and everyone's afraid of her.
Well, not only that, but like at the same time, like tranny isn't a slur for a transgender person. And not only that, like they literally just looked at her. And this was like one of the most disgusting moments for me, where I was just like, and this isn't virtue signaling or any of that bullshit. I don't give a fuck what you say about me. I looked at like the discourse around Abby when those leaks first happened. I was fucking disgusted. I was like, are you fucking serious, dude?
Mm-hmm.
You're really going to just look at, and like my personal grievances aside from Abby, like I do think her arms are comically big. And I do think that that's like it's a weird character design. Like I'm not going to say that she's a bad character. I don't like her, but I don't think she's a bad character. I just think it's like, it's a little weird to think that like, but we'll get into that. But like her fucking, just by looking at her and just like, and calling her these fucking awful shit. And I'm just like, come on, man, we're fucking better than this, are we not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of just these people's, like the grievances that they have toward the sexuality, towards the quote gender of whoever, or Abby in this case. It's just like, who cares? Like these people are just like, how dare you show me that these people exist? You know what I mean? Like, yep. I think it's just, it's all. But let's get into the game. Let's get into just all of the meat and potatoes.
All the shit.
I personally loved the shit out of this game. I mean, from beginning to end, there were so many times where I was like, I had to like choke back some tears.
Oh God.
where I'm just like, oh god, oh shit.
Yeah. Absolutely. The fucking.
You know the.
Go ahead.
Oh no! Continue. No, Cole. Continue.
I was just bringing up the museum. The museum is like one of those shining spots for me, and like a glaring omission when people are using that that fucking criticism of saying, "Oh, it's too bleak and there's no good moments or there's no like hope or anything."
It's a fucking apocalypse.
Well, not only that, but like there are though, like especially replaying the game right now, and I'm like, it's not that I didn't pay attention the first time that I'm playing through, but I'm like actually indulging in like Dina and Ellie's conversation. Like these guys are like fucking, they're having like a heartfelt conversation here. Like they're talking about starting a band and all this shit. Like there's tons of like heartfelt and light-hearted conversation. And I feel like the museum part is like one of the parts where the game truly shines because it shines a light on Ellie and Joel. Yeah. And not only that, but like Ellie at that time, at that age, because that's her birthday, so the birthday scene is not too far off from when they got to Jackson.
Right.
One of my biggest things was the first game did so well with pacing was like you'd have a dark moment and then you'd have Ellie throw out like a dumb joke.
Yeah.
And it just completely like broke down all those walls of like everything is going to hell. It was just Ellie with some stupid fucking pun that was really bad that came out of nowhere, but like it made you feel happy. Yeah. Right?
It brought levity, yeah.
And for this game, the flashbacks accomplished that same problem. Like every flashback hits at the right time. Like you just beat the shit out of Nora with a pipe, right? It's like flashback. You just kill somebody. And even with Abby, it does the same thing. It's like the moment you do something horrible, they remind you how good these people can be.
Yeah, they remind you of their humanity.
Yes, and I love that about it. And the first game did that so well because the first game did it with two people with this overlapping storyline, and they did it in real time. This game does it with flashbacks. I love those flashbacks.
Yeah,
I lived for those throughout this game because every time I was like, this is not going to get better for anybody. And then all of a sudden I get some fantastic flashback and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm on a motherfucking dinosaur, dude. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
That's such a great moment.
That was the moment during the museum where I was like, I can't fucking help myself, is when they get in the space shuttle and Joel gives her the cassette of the... Dude. I couldn't fucking help it. Yeah. I was just like, this is too good. Like,
so in that moment specifically, Asher was watching me play.
Yeah.
And so we get this. Asher's my wife, by the way. She's watching me play, and we're getting this whole, the whole spaceship stuff and everything. And then all of a sudden, I'm in control again. And she looks at me and she's like, oh shit, I forgot you were playing a video game.
That's a good moment. That's a good feeling.
And that's how good this game is. That's what it encapsulates, because it realizes what it's doing.
Yeah.
And then it always brings you back the moment you feel like there's something good is going to happen, something happy is going to happen. You're not going to be in control of the murder spree anymore. It's like, you know what? No, we're going to tell you how good this role can be. And then we're just going to remind you that it fucking sucks. So have fun.
Well, not only that, like I don't know, the criticism of it being too dark, just,
it's not too dark in any way, shape or form.
Well,
it's
it
not
definitely,
too dark.
It has some fucking super dark moments, but I feel like that's kind of what they were going for, because with this whole plot, and I still think that you were the one that told me that the main plot at the end of the game was like, it's forgiveness. The whole game tells, it might not have been you.
No, it's not me. It wasn't me.
It was somebody close to me. Mm-hmm. But they were like, oh, I think it was Angela. She said that like the whole game tells you that this is about revenge. Ellie's doing what she's doing because she wants to fucking
get back.
Well, she wants to get back. She wants to feel better. She wants to not feel the fucking way that she's feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, you get to the end of the game and you get some of those flashbacks, like the porch flashback and everything.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to fucking forgive herself. She wants to forgive Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing. And so it's like, I feel like it's a revenge plot. It's a forgiveness plot that has like this giant revenge blanket over it. And then by the end of the game, they're just, they rip it off and they say, hey, guess what? She just needed to forgive herself.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. There's two moments in this game that really hurt me. And that was beating the shit out of Ellie as Abby.
Yeah.
Like, God damn, I was not ready. I was like, I don't want to hurt her. Like, I died so many times in that part because I was trying to avoid punching her. They're like, you can't. Like, you have to physically beat the hell out of Ellie.
Yep.
Because that's what Abby would do.
Yep.
And then the end of the game, like, I fell in love with Abby, guys. I did.
Let's hear it. Let's get into Abby.
I fell 100% in love with Abby. She is so great. She has every reason to want to kill Joel.
Yep.
She has every reason to kill Joel the way she killed Joel. Let's talk about it. Ellie fucking put a machete in David's face because he was a piece of shit to her, right?
Several
and we
times.
didn't hesitate. We didn't question it. Not to, like, the fact that David is a huge pillar for this community of people. Granted, yes, they are cannibals. They do eat humans. That makes them a little bit questionable.
Yep.
But it's the apocalypse. Like, you probably are going to eat a human here or there. So we praise the Ellie murdering David scene because it's a character we love killing someone that we hate, right?
Right.
Yep.
Well, we don't love Abby yet when she kills Joel. But once you learn her motivation, it makes sense why she did what she did.
Absolutely.
It makes complete sense why she did what she did. If the first game revolved around Abby and we had this whole moment where some dude showed up and killed my father and everyone I loved, I'd probably want to kill that dude too. And that's exactly why Ellie goes on her revenge mission. It's two people who can't fucking get over something. Yep. And all the consequences that come into effect because of that.
Yep.
There's a video that I saw.
I fell in love with Abby. I really did. Yeah.
There was a video that I saw that pretty much explains it, like, in an alternate universe in 2013, the first Last of Us comes out. And it's about a little girl named Abby and her father just trying to live through life. And they,
right.
Like, it pretty much tells the exact same story of Joel and Ellie, but on Abby and her father. And it's true. Like, if somebody were to if someone killed somebody close to me, of course I'd want to take some kind of revenge for it. And her father wasn't a bad guy. Like, he was good person.
Nobody in that game is a bad person. There's no bad people in this video game. That's the hardest thing. No one's a villain.
Except for the Seraphites.
Outside of, even the Scars aren't, dude. You hang out with, and even like when Lev's like, did you read the text? Like, she would hate this. She would hate this violence. She would want nothing to do with this. Yeah. This is not who we are as people. And like, that's the thing, is nobody is bad in this game. Every person you kill is just giving a shit about themselves. And that's what makes it hurt, is because everybody you kill does not deserve to die. They should, no matter if you're playing as Ellie or Abby or Joel or whoever, nobody that you kill actually technically deserves to die. They're just protecting their own lives and their ability to live and their ability to move forward in this fucked up nonsense where you could step out of your house and a clicker just is like, hey, good morning, and eat your face.
Yep.
Like, that's not fair to anybody. You're going to be a little bit questionable, people. How do you know that this person that showed up at your camp isn't bit? How do you know that this person that showed up to your camp isn't a psychopath? Because the only people that can survive an apocalypse are clearly psychopaths.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
right?
No, I
So
totally agree.
It's frustrating because this game frustrated me in a way because I just wanted Ellie to look at Abby or Abby to look at Ellie and be like, you know what? We need to stop this circle of violence.
Yeah.
I mean, Ellie pulls her off a fucking pole. Who knows how long she's been there? And then
Long time.
She has every opportunity to just get in that boat and leave. We all know Abby's not going to go after her. Abby cares about Lev at this point, and that's it. And yet, still, Ellie forces Abby to fight her.
Yep.
Ellie goes, "No, I need to kill you," and she doesn't, though. Ugh. So, clearly, I have some frustrations.
Yeah.
But that's what this game was supposed to do. It's supposed to make us feel this way. It's supposed to make us question our own morality and our own ability to comprehend revenge and stress and what it takes to live, especially when you're living in a situation that's not friendly to you living in it. So, sorry, I got off on a tangent.
No, this is something that I have been seeing a lot too is Ellie technically saved Abby.
She did. Ellie's dead if not for Ellie, or Abby's dead if not for Ellie.
Yeah, I mean, like let's not lie to ourselves anymore. Like Ellie saved Abby. Like she might have cut the shit out of her and fucking almost drowned her. Ellie fucking saved Abby. Oh my God.
Abby doesn't even get that moment without Ellie cutting her down, though. And Lev doesn't get to live with that because Lev's going to live either way. There's no way Ellie's going to actually kill Lev.
No.
Even when she puts that knife to his throat and is like, "You fight me or he's dead." Ellie's not going to kill Lev.
Yeah.
Like she's a better person than I really do believe that.
So
and that was just her making sure that Abby knew that, like, hey, we got to go. Like we got to duke this shit out.
We're serious.
We got to fight. Yeah. Like, it is what it is. But we got to throw hands right now.
So let me get into Abby. How I feel about Abby.
Well, let's get into Abby, please, because I want to talk about Abby more than I want to talk about Ellie.
I don't like I don't like Abby. I don't like Abby as a person. I don't like Abby as a character. I didn't like playing as her but let me preface, I didn't like playing as her the first little bit because
that first 2 chapters with her were really rough. I will say that. I agree with you. When they switched to her, I was really mad. I was livid. I was like, dude, I just got to this climax and now you're going to throw me back 3 days earlier with this bitch. Like, no, I was upset. I fully was upset.
It's fucking jarring, bro, because it right before that right before that happens, fucking Jesse dies. Of like a really prominent character in the story at this point, just is fucking
R.I.P.
shocked.
Jesse, by the way.
Yeah, no shit. He's probably the most.
I didn't realize how much I loved him.
Yeah.
I did not realize how much I loved him till this morning when I started replaying the game. And when he first shows up at Ellie's door,
yeah,
and he knocks on her door or whatever, and he's like, dude, let's go. And then the whole Dean thing comes out, and he's like, I'm not mad at you. Like
I don't care.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like I'd make out with her too. Like she's hot. Like it's fine. Like just let's go. Let's go kill some infected and come home. And that was the thing that really clicked for me. I was like, holy shit, Jesse's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Like this dude is awesome. And it didn't click the first time because you don't have the context of what happened. Trust me, guys, play this game a second time.
Oh,
this isn't for YouTube. I know you will, and I know Eddie will. But like to everyone listening, play this game a second time. Because the second time is actually even better than the first.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
the way that I see Abby is that I don't like her. I don't like really any of her friends. Like I don't like Man. I kind of like Manny. I kind of like Manny, but I kind of don't at the same time because he's the guy that spits on Joel. Like
Again, though, if that was Tommy spitting on Manny after he killed someone that was important to Joel, would you be as upset?
That's a good point. Yeah, for sure.
They have every right to be as mad as they are. They have every.
Oh yeah.
No one does necessarily anything wrong in this game.
Yeah. They
Outside of Isaac. Fuck Isaac. But we'll get to that.
I think Mel is like the most unlikable character in a video game ever. I just don't like her.
With everything going on, with all the things going on, clickers, seraphites, fucking everything going on, you want to focus on your love triangle. Get the fuck out of here.
Do either of you have children?
Yeah.
I don't.
I have children.
Okay, Eddie, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever hung out with a pregnant woman before?
Yeah.
Are they rational human beings?
Well, no. It's a good point.
Okay. Just saying.
Well, I don't
just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I don't like Mel, but I think that she cements one of my points that I'm going to say a little bit later down the road. Owen, I just don't know. Like, you're trying to make me care about Owen, but I just don't. Like, I think he's very conflicted. He's a very conflicted character. He doesn't want to be part of the WLF anymore. He knows he fucked up when he got Mel pregnant. You can tell that he obviously still has feelings for Abby. Like,
well, they make that very clear.
Oh God, yeah, I know. Neil Druckmann did a hell of a job on that mocap scene, huh?
That wasn't him, by the way.
I know it wasn't.
Okay, I'm just making sure that you guys know that he did no mocap for the game.
It's preposterous to fucking think that he would.
Okay.
Like, I can't fucking help myself.
He's the best director in video games. He's not going to be like, you know what? You're not doing what I want you to do. Let me bang this chick from behind. No. Sorry.
Jesus.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen when you make a video game.
So the saving grace for Abby for me is when you introduce Yara and Lev.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's the saving grace for everybody.
Yeah. So and this is just how I think. Like, what happens to Joel is incredibly shocking. And when they say, like, all these interviews that are coming out and they're saying, like, hey, we really wanted you to feel what Ellie's feeling. Like, we really wanted you to feel that, like, what happened was a fucking tragedy. Like after what happens when you the scene goes down to Joel's grave and Ellie's just sitting on, like, you know, looking at at the grave, and like, it's the little parts in that little scene that just fucking get me. How she's just, like, the way that her eyes are staring, the fucking the animation. Oh my fuck! Like,
when she tells him to get up.
Oh God,
and
yeah.
Every part of me expected him to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single part of me was like, all right, because, like, one, Naughty Dog cut the trailer better than anybody.
Oh yeah.
And everyone that's like, oh, when they cut that trailer, it was Joel that said that line. No, it wasn't. It was Jesse that said that line. And they just made sure that it looked like it came out of Joel's mouth.
Yeah.
Like, when she tells him to get up, get the fuck up, Joel. She yells at him, and he doesn't. Because he can't. And she's helpless.
Yeah.
And I replayed that literally at 6 a.m. this morning. And that... Fuck, man. That hurt, dude. Like, it's
a fucking rough scene. And, like, everything that happens afterwards is just, like, salt on the wound. Like I was saying, like, with her kneeling down at his grave, and just, like, like I said, it was like the little things where she's, like, the way she's looking at the headstone, and then not only that, like, if you pay attention to her hands, like how she's playing with the dirt, I'm like, oh my God, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we get any more fucking... And, like, and then you're walking up to his house.
When she smells his jacket. When she smells
God.
his jacket, man.
Dude, it's
she
like,
just smells it. I thought she was going to take it, but no, she just smells it.
Well, you see that she's wearing that in the very end, right? When she leaves Dina. She's wearing Joel's jacket.
She never should have left that house.
No, God, no. But, like...
Everyone, like, wants the game to end there because they want a happy ending, but, like, her leaving that house was the moment you realize, like, this game doesn't get a happy ending.
Oh God, no.
Like, it's The Last of Us. It doesn't get a happy ending. It gets Ellie's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Santa Barbara, and I'm gonna kill this bitch. And like, you don't get the happy ending that you want.
Yeah, and
that's why everyone's mad. They wanted that game to end there. It didn't. Sorry.
No, you're good. And that's another thing that I feel like this game is about. Like, it's not only about forgiveness, it's about consequence.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Abby goes on this self-fulfilling journey to kill Joel, and for that, all of her friends die.
Right? Like,
and then Ellie does the same thing to go and kill Abby for what she did. Yeah, for what she did to Joel, and all of her friends almost die. Most of her friends die. You know what I mean? And then Ellie again fulfilling this journey or fulfilling this need to go to Santa Barbara loses her family. Like it's about what the negative consequences of revenge are.
Well, not only that, dude, but like you can see it with Abby, because like this is like one of those unspoken things that I don't see anybody fucking talking about, is the fact that what happens to Abby is kind of what like a peeking into the future of what would happen with Ellie.
Yeah.
Like, nobody fucking looks at Abby the same way. All of her friends are distancing themselves from her. They're like,
all of her friends are done with her.
Yeah, they don't want any, like, hardly.
They're
the only one
done with her.
The only one that does is Manny. But Manny's probably just trying to fuck her.
I mean, okay, well let's go into that, right?
Yeah.
So in that scene, when who's the first one that pulls a gun out and puts a gun to the head of Ellie? It's Manny.
Yeah.
Manny's like, let's kill her because we need to get her out of the way, because if we keep her alive, it's gonna be a problem.
It's gonna be bad.
Like, but at this, it's so Abby's revenge cost her life, right?
Yep.
Ellie's revenge cost her life. Ellie's took a little bit longer to get there, but it's still, like, that's the infuriating thing about it, is if I had the choice to not leave that house with Ellie when Tommy shows up, because I know where she is, she's right here, I would never leave that house.
Yeah.
And Dina's begging you not to leave that house, and you leave still, and then Dina shows up at 3:00 in the fucking morning and tells you not to fucking leave, and you still leave. I wanted to throw a brick through the TV, man. Like, I was so mad, but I got it. For the sake of the story, it made sense.
Yeah. Well, and I was spoiled on that as well, because I knew that all these stupid memes come out where it's like, oh, it's all right, bro. I forgive you for killing my dog. And then it says directed by Neil Druckmann.
That hurt, by the way. The moment you realize, like, I remember when the first time I was playing as Abby and we walked through like a courtyard and she's like, bear, and I was like, I fucking murdered that dog.
I fucking killed that dog, bro.
Yeah.
And then you see Vita Girl and you're like, yeah, I killed that bitch too. Like, sorry, like, I stabbed her in the neck. My bad.
I love that she's Vita Girl.
She doesn't have a name. It's just Vita Girl.
Also, she's playing my favorite Vita game of all time. So, like,
Hotline Miami.
Oh, I love that game so much. That one hurt.
Yeah. Did you notice how when the Vita drops on the ground, it doesn't crack the screen?
The Vita screens don't crack, bro.
Holy. It's because the Vita is a holy piece of technology that was given to us from God. And we failed that console.
The Vita is the greatest handheld console of all time.
Fucking amen.
And I will fight anyone that says otherwise.
You need to climb up the ranks at Sony and punch that motherfucker in the face that decided to fuck everything up for the Vita. Sony, I know you're listening. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm
going to plead the fifth on that one.
I don't know, man. I began Abby and I thought, hey, I don't like this at all. And then I like continued to play it and started seeing like all the similarities that she had with Joel and Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, okay, fucking Abby is the new Joel.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's almost as if that. It's almost as if that was the point.
Well, I think the point is, and this is as complex or as simple as you want to make it. The point is that there's a person on the other end of that gun. At the other end of that golf club, of that baseball bat, of that Molotov, there's a person at the end of that, and we all fucking feel the same way.
Yeah.
When this shit happens, like the whole purpose of Abby's story is to say, not only to say like, hey, revenge isn't just bad, it's hollow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to fix your life. It's not going to bring back your dead dad.
No.
It's not going to make you feel better. It's only going to make you feel worse. And one violent act begets another one. So now you've just perpetuated this fucking violent cycle that just continues and continues and continues. And the whole idea of Abby coming up with Lev and Yara is really cool. And I really, really don't like the beginning of Abby's stuff or sequence because it doesn't have Yara and Lev. So Yara and Lev are the two Seraphite children. I think Yara is still a child, right? Yara's like...
Yara is, I think, 18, 19, maybe 20. She's in the like mid-range.
16.
She might be, I don't know. She's a teenage-ish range.
Yeah. 15 to 18.
She's also a beast.
Yeah. So I really like Yara and Lev, and I think that like we said, Yara is, she's like a female Seraphite, and she's kind of like, she's a card-carrying person, a card-carrying Seraphite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's really good with following the rules of the religion. Well, Lev is not. And I gotta tell you, I really like the way that they handled Lev.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
Oh, I agree. And Lev has that moment where he brings up the fact that, like, where they ask, and they're like, well, why didn't you just go to do this? And he's like, because they would have killed me on the spot. And it's because he's a man that identifies as a woman. Well, like, and the best joke he makes, even though it's not a joke, is I'm like, why are you in trouble? I shaved my head.
Yeah.
It hits. The moment that hits for you, when you realize when you're in the middle of a fight and someone calls him Lily, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That fucking makes sense. Oh my God, that is horrible. That is horrible. Like,
so you meant to say a woman that identifies as a man, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No. I get it. Right. And we're not real big on like pontificating this shit, but we're just in terms of like, hey, this is just how it is. So we're accurate.
Let me rephrase this. When she says, I'm in trouble because I shaved my head.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you go, oh fuck. And then you hear like, because he is called Lily like 6 times before this, and I'm like, fuck you, quit calling him Lily. That's Lev. That's my dude Lev right there. Like, stop it.
Yep.
And then he goes, I shaved my head. And then you realize like, oh shit, this is a girl.
Yeah.
That identifies as a man. Like, this is a transgender character. That moment hits hard. It does. And it also hits, it doesn't hit, they don't shove it in your face.
No, they don't.
They don't. That's all the, like, a lot of the pre-hatred came from the fact that they just shoved transgender identity in your face. No, they don't.
They really don't. They really don't.
They really don't.
There's a massive difference between pandering and having love and respect. And I feel like the way that they handled this is very, very respectful. Like, and it doesn't, like you said, you're not getting fucking berated and clubbed over the head with, hey, respect transgender people. It's like, that's not what the fuck this is. Like, that's just why these kids are on the fucking run is because they're part of an extremely, extremely oppressive and aggressive religion that is saying, hey, this person is an abomination. Like, you can look into that as much as you fucking want to, and you can come up with whatever you want. But my personal opinion, and I'm sure Eddie and Nathan's here, I'm pretty sure that we both didn't feel like it was overhand or heavy-handed.
It wasn't.
Or pandering or any of this shit. I really didn't think that at all. And not only that, it's like it's like a 5-minute conversation, and then we never talking about it again. Like, it's still part of Lev's character arc, because like that's when we go to the island, and the only reason why we're going to the island is because Lev left, went AWOL.
Lev wants his mom to forgive him. I want to get on that concept for a second.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's where it really hit for me. There's Abby and Lev have a few moments that really hit, right? So there's the moment where you're in that first bit of combat, and this is underplayed. I don't think this gets brought up enough, but this was a thing for me. So when you run into Scars for the first time with Abby and Lev, and they start calling him Lily.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, okay, that's a thing. And then when Yara dies, which Yara goes out like a boss, though.
Holy fuck, I remember that.
Oh my God, Yara goes out like a boss.
It happens so fucking fast, too. Like, and like the way that they animated that scene is, oh my God, it's fucking brutal, dude.
Isaac has that gun at your face, and he's about to pull that trigger, and Yara's like, you know what? No, I'm good. Boom, boom.
Give me one last fuck you. Yeah.
Oh my God, the way they blow her up. Fuck, dude.
It's
like
fucked up, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude.
You just see blood leaving her body, and you're like, oh my God.
Yep.
But like, and then Abby grabs Lev and says, "You're my people."
Yep.
And that is everything.
Yeah.
And that's how we should all live every day, is you are my people.
Yep.
Why? Because you exist as a human. That makes you my people. Like, that moment hit hard. Like, that moment hit really hard. And it's infuriating why people get mad at it, because it's like, Lev just watched his sister die. The only person that cared about him died. And then all of a sudden he has this human that actually gives a shit about him and who he is and what he wants to do, and says, you know what? No, fuck this. Yes, your sister just died. We also have to get the hell off of this island. So let's go. Like, we got to live to be able to understand what we're going through right now. And the other thing that hit me really hard was the fact that Lev had to kill his own mother.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's understated, though. I think that's some understated brilliance, is that we don't see what happened. We only come across what happened.
Yeah, we walk into that room and we see Yara get real upset because her mother is dead.
Yep.
And then we see Lev in the corner, and Lev goes, look, I tried. I told her.
Yep.
Like, she just wasn't having it. She got violent. She got angry. She got upset. I had no choice but to put an arrow through her face, right? And it's like, shit, yeah, that makes sense. Like, that, it sucks. It hurts. Everything about this game sucks. It hurts. Story-wise, it all sucks. It all hurts. It all makes you feel like you're a bad person.
Yep.
You consistently feel like you're horrible. But then at the end of the day, you go, you look, it makes you look at yourself and go, you know what? I would have done that.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have done that. I would have done that. I would have done that. Like, I look at my wife right now and say, you know what? If someone had a gun to her head, what do you think I'm going to do to that person?
Fuck them up.
Exactly. So when Ellie has to look at someone who has every right to hate Joel, every right to want to put that golf club through his head, she looks at her and she sees him and she says, "Please stop." And she goes, "No." And she puts it through his head, right?
Yep.
Like, in that moment, we are all human. And every one of us would have done what Abby did, and every one of us would have been upset as Ellie.
Yep.
And that's what makes this game so great. The parallels, like, I never expected to be in love with Abby like I was. Oh my God. I enjoyed the Abby sections more than I enjoyed the Ellie sections. No doubt. Not lying to you guys. I 100% enjoyed playing as Abby more than I enjoyed playing as Ellie.
I'll tell you that the set piece of the burning island where you're running through and
on the horse with lead.
Yep.
I just want to make sure I know what you're talking about.
I got to tell you, I think that's like top 3 Naughty Dog set pieces of all time for me.
I mean, it's almost as good as that Uncharted 2 train. We could just remember that Uncharted 2 train. It's not. It's not.
I think it's better. I think it's better than like. And so let me preface here. I am one of those weirdos that think Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 2. I think that the set
Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 2.
Yes.
I will agree with you on that. Uncharted 3 is amazing.
Oh, thank you. I thought we were.
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until the second playthrough. It was the second time I was like, "Fuck, this game's better than Uncharted 2."
Dude, Uncharted 3 Uncharted 3 is what like cemented Naughty Dog.
I have one beef with Uncharted 3, but we're not going to get into this in the podcast because we have better things to do. But continue, Cole, please. I want to hear this.
So the set pieces in Uncharted 3, there are 3 actually that stick out for me. The ship sinking is number 3 for me.
Also, that whole ship fucking ship level is bad. When you're escaping. Oh no, what ship? You're talking about the beginning of the game?
No.
I thought you were talking about the pirate ship.
No, I'm talking about like the Titanic ship that you're on, and you have to escape it when it's sinking.
The cruise ship. Yes, that is amazing. Sorry,
yes.
I got sidetracked. I apologize.
That's number 3 for me. Number 2 is climbing on top of it. So it's infiltrating the cargo ship. So like when you're on top of the Jeep and you have to like climb on the hood, and then you're like fucking surfing the hood. And you're like going fucking like 100 miles an hour just to fucking keep up with the goddamn gigantic fucking plane, right? Like it's a fucking cargo plane. It's huge. And then like climbing on top of it and everything. But my number 1 moment, like it's fighting. It's fighting with the burning island right now on my favorite fucking Naughty Dog set piece is when you wake up in the cargo, or you're like, it cuts to the cargo, and then like everything's fucking flying out of the cargo ship. The cargo ship is like being torn apart, and like you see pieces like flying everywhere. This is like one of my favorite fucking things ever in a video game. And like when you fly out and you barely catch onto the fucking net that was holding all the cargo down. God damn it, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's so fucking cool. And I'm telling you that this burning island, the burning Seraphite village is just as fucking good as that moment. Like running through on the horse, and then you're like the horse dying, and then you have to fend for yourself. There's fucking Seraphites and wolves attacking each other, and you can fucking attack both, or you can sneak right past.
I didn't kill anybody through that entire situation. I did not put a bullet in anybody.
Jesus, that's impressive.
Because in my brain I was like, if I kill anybody on either side, I'm either killing Abby's friend or Lev's friend. At this point, I'm so in love with both of these characters. Like, I don't want to kill anyone they belong to.
That makes sense.
Oh my God, the bridge, the sky bridge. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
like, are you fucking kidding me with that one? When she like fall, that was rough, dude. Like, there's so many moments where you fall in love with Ellie and you fall in love with Abby, and then you're like, And the whole time, I'm like, will you guys just fucking, like, just forgive each other, please?
Yeah, will you guys just make up now, please?
It's like, get over it. Like, get over it. You've already lost everybody.
Yeah.
You have lost everyone you care about. Yes, I know Tommy lived, but that version that showed up in that last chapter, that's not Tommy.
Yeah.
He's missing an eye. He can't even walk straight. That's not Tommy.
Yep.
That's a broken human being. And that's why he's like, I need to kill this bitch. Because the only reason why he's the way he is because he wants to kill her.
Real quick, my favorite part during the sky bridge is when you're going along and Abby says something to Lev and Lev says cold.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like, so cool. So cool. She means like, you mean cool, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what? She's like, never mind.
I'm like, oh, my sweet little transgender child. I love you.
Yeah.
Also, that was not forced on us.
No. No, not at all.
They're trying to force a transgender agenda on you. No. They made a great transgender character that we all fell in love with and wanted to live. Like, fuck you, man. Like, come on.
So
everyone got so hyped over some nonsense.
No shit. So I want to end on something that I feel like maybe all three of us will have a different opinion on.
Cool.
But if not,
you want to end on the ending?
No, I don't want to. So I guess we could talk about the ending a little bit. I want to end on Joel.
No. What do you want? Oh, okay. Let's end on Joel.
I want to end on Joel.
I don't want to talk about the ending. I want everyone to experience the ending and not have us yelling at them about it. So yes, I'm fine with ending.
That makes sense. No, I hear you. So this is how I feel about Joel. That first game means a lot to me. It means a great deal to me. And
it's a very special video game.
And it kind of, I don't know. I don't really know if I have this insane reverence for that title. I just feel like everything that happens in that game, while being simple, like the story of The Last of Us is a simple one. The lore in the world is more complex. But the overall narrative and the character arc, or not the character arc, but the story arc, is relatively simple. It's
incredibly simple, and I appreciate you for saying that because it's so easy.
Yeah, it's get this from point A to point B.
Point B, yep.
But where that game truly shines is in its characters and how it writes its characters and how believable these characters are. And not only our main characters, but also, the secondary and the tertiary characters. All of these characters are incredibly written incredibly well. Like there's not really a single one that's like I could consider bad.
Yeah.
There's some of them that are better than others for sure, but everyone acts within their range.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why I feel like the narrative is being lost on part 2 is because everyone was kind of expecting a little bit more when it came to story-wise. But when you really think about it, when you really boil this bitch down for tea, it's the same. It's the same simplistic story arc, albeit a different one. It's definitely different, but it's still simplistic in nature. This is a story about characters and what characters go through. It's not necessarily the characters' actions that define what happened in the world, that change their acts change the world. We are talking about character development, what these characters are going through, what they are in the beginning and what they are at the end. And so why I want to talk about Joel is because a lot of people are super upset with what happens to Joel. They're saying, hey, Joel isn't acting the way that he acted in the first game. So let's talk about Joel in the first game a little bit. He's a cold-hearted fucking killer, right? He is a man that will do anything to survive. He lost everything that he ever fucking cared for in the first 15 minutes of that game. And he lived his life 2 decades of doing unimaginably horrible shit in the name of survival.
And then he lost the only other thing he ever cared about when he lost Tess.
Exactly. So now, which is, that's a great point. That's a catalyst for him caring about Ellie. As much as he does. So the thing is, though, is that we are putting Joel up on a pedestal.
Joel is a horrible human being.
Exactly. Yeah.
He really, really
Sorry.
is. And like, we only get glimpses into the horrible shit that he did in that first title. Like the Pittsburgh conversation with Ellie, where he's like, I've been on both sides. You know, like,
who knows? It's like, who knows what he did in those 20 years? Like, let's ask that question.
Exactly. And not only that, but the biggest view that we get of the kind of person that Joel is. I didn't really get to talk about this during our episode because I didn't want to focus too much of it on that game, because I feel like his actions have bigger ramifications, have bigger consequences in the second game.
Yeah.
And they shine way brighter. Well, I guess they dampen things a lot more in the second title than they do in the first game. The choice that Joel makes at the end of the first game is incredibly selfish.
Absolutely.
He damns humanity.
Yeah.
And but I'm going to defend him here, though. Like, he saves the only human he's cared about since the world ended.
Absolutely.
Since the moment he literally had his daughter die in his fucking arms.
Yep.
He has cared about one person, and that's Ellie.
And
so he saved her. And again, would you do anything differently?
Well, exactly. It's not to say that none of us would do the exact same thing. It does, the ends justify the means, but it doesn't, it doesn't make them any more good or bad. You know what I mean? They make this whole thing about how Joel was justified in doing it. Of course he's justified in doing it, but at what cost? You know what I mean?
Well, he saw the cost. He got a golf club through the head.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what I'm getting at here is that the first game, you understand why he's doing what he's doing, and you put your feet in his shoes, and you are along for the ride. You could agree, you could not agree. I get it. And there's been a pretty convincing argument of like, okay, the Fireflies were pretty fucking messy, like they're kind of on the outs. There was no guarantee that a cure was going to happen. And then you got to get into specifics of like, how are we going to distribute this cure, even if we do get one? Like, there are going to be people out there that are just going to be fucking, that are going to kill. You know what I mean? Like, people would prevent this. And not only that, like, Joel had a fucking reason to kill all these people because they were talking about killing him. Because they didn't want him to do anything about it. So there's two sides to every fucking coin here. And a lot of people are using that argument that I just displayed. A lot of people are using that as damning evidence against like why Joel. It doesn't make any sense why Joel did what he did, or what happened to Joel is bad and it's bad storytelling. It's like, no, it's in support. It's in support of this idea that there are two sides to every fucking coin,
and that there are consequences to your actions.
If you were Abby, would you have put that golf club through his head?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Without hesitation.
Like, if I'm Abby in that moment, that golf club's going through that dude's skull. Like, I completely agree with what she did. Was I mad? Yes. Did I hate her? Yes. And then I played as her. And then I fell in love with her.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, man. And beating the shit out of Ellie as Abby hurt. Beating the shit out of Abby as Ellie hurt. Like, both of those fights were like, I didn't want to play the game. I was like, God, I don't want to do this.
And it's crazy because like, if you look at it from Abby's perspective, you this man just killed one of the most pure people you've ever known in your life.
He's a good person.
Her dad's a good dude. Her dad just wants to save people. Like, what the fuck?
Like, he saves a baby zebra while everyone else is, while the who was it? Owen. While Owen's like, dude, we gotta go. Like, we've got shit to do. And he's like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna save this animal, and then we can go do whatever.
That's a good scene. It's a good scene.
And we shot that man in the face.
Yep.
Well, it depends on what you did. Depends on what you did, because if you did what Naughty Dog wanted you to do, you took his fucking scalpel that he was pointing at you and shoved it in his jugular.
No, I shot him in the mouth, dude.
No matter what, you still killed him. We killed him. We all killed him 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden, he has a life and a daughter and a personality, and we're like, fuck, we killed this dude.
Do you know who Alana Pierce is?
I do know. I love her.
I love her too. She's fucking great. Have you heard her spoiler cast yet?
Yes. Yeah.
With the fucking blonde-haired chick that said, I'm really mad at Naughty Dog because I made it a precedent that I didn't kill that doctor. And
you're talking about the one she did when she did with like 5 different people, and one of them was like, or like half of them were like, this game's a 5 out of 10, and the other half was like, this game's amazing. Yeah. No, okay.
No,
I know
this is literally what she said. She's like, my first and biggest grievance is that their whole thing that they're basing Abby's story off of doesn't make any fucking sense, because you have to kill that doctor.
But you have to kill the first doctor.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to kill the first one. And that's the one you do kill, and that's her father.
I just was like, what? And then I go into the comments and everyone's just fucking blasting her. Yeah. Like, did you guys kill the other 2?
I did.
I mean, I've played that game so many fucking times. I can tell you that it probably happened.
Every time I've played that game, I've killed every human being that wasn't Ellie in the room.
When I can go to Detroit for the same ring, like the moment I met the little girl in Detroit become human, I was like, my only goal is to save this girl.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what it takes. I am saving this child. Even when she's like, oh, I'm an android. I was like, who gives a fuck? I'm saving you. I'm making sure you have a life to live.
You're my
and that's why I think that's why this game upset me, is because I kept screaming at the TV at Ellie and Abby every time they fought. Like, just talk to each other.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Please understand that you guys are fighting the same fucking fight. But you refuse to acknowledge the fact that you're both hurt. You both have a reason. But you have no reason to kill her, and she has no reason to kill you. And it's okay. I want to talk about the ending before we end this.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so here's my thing with the ending, and here's why I think this ending is great, right? So Ellie goes to the boat, and she can just leave Abby alone, right? And in that moment, she has that flashback of Abby busting in Joel's skull, correct?
Yep.
And so she looks at Abby and goes, we have to fight. Like, we have to do this. This has to happen. Correct?
Yeah. And she has to do this. Ellie has to do this. Abby doesn't.
Yes. Abby's done. Abby just wants to go hang out with Lev and just be done. Also, the way they fucking, like, thinned her out, like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was shocking. That
hurt. I felt so, I was like, oh my God, what has she been through? Right? We don't even know what Abby's been through at this moment. We see this Abby that was hanging on this fucking stupid pole on the. Also, we save Abby's life, right? So Ellie, if Ellie really wanted to kill Abby, she could have just put a bullet in her head at that moment, or she could have just left her there.
Yeah.
Ellie never wanted to kill Abby, and this is what. So she goes back to the boat. She has this scene of Joel dying. She turns around. She goes, "I can't let you go." Right? She walks over to Lev. She puts the knife at his throat. And she goes, you have to fight me or I'm going to kill Lev. She was never going to kill Lev. But anyway, she does that. So Abby goes, okay, let's go, right? They start fighting. Ellie is drowning Abby, right? Abby is dead at this point. And I don't think enough people picked up on this. So as Ellie is holding Abby under the water, Ellie has that vision of Joel playing guitar and being happy and smiling. And that's when she stopped. And the reason, because she realized, like, this isn't going to fix it. Killing Abby is not going to make Joel come back. Killing Abby is not going to make me remember Joel better. I can already remember Joel better. She remembered him at his best in that moment and realized, like,
that's all I need to do.
I don't need to do this. And she immediately was like, also, I feel like she immediately regretted leaving Dina and in that house, which was beautiful. But like, she had that moment where she realized, like, you know what? I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make me feel better because she's about to kill her. And then she has her memory and realizes, like, killing her is not going to make it better. I can find my own memories of this man. I can find my own joy of this man. I can make this a thing. I don't need to kill her for it to happen.
Exactly.
And I loved that moment. I did. And then she just sits there in the water and fucking cries. Because she realized, and then she goes, I fucking left my wife because of this. I left my child because of this. When she left, by the way, I almost threw my fucking controller to the television. I cannot stress my anger in that moment.
Yeah, no, fuck. Very justified.
When she got up at...
Go ahead.
No. When she got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and was like, you know what? I got to finish this. When Tommy showed up, I was so mad.
I hate Tommy.
Like,
yeah.
I fucking hate Tommy.
I don't.
Game, dude.
I love Tommy.
No,
I don't hate anyone. No one in this game deserves to be hated.
No, I think Tommy deserves a little hate.
He doesn't.
I hear what you're saying, though, bro. I do. I see what you're saying.
Nobody deserves to be hated. Everyone has their reasons for doing what they do. Like, look at it. Every single person in this game, and every single person in this game does something absolutely horrendous.
Yep.
But every single one of them has a reason for doing what they do.
Right.
Whether it's, I need to avenge my father, basically. I need to avenge my father, literally. I need to avenge the fact that my brother was killed. Like, everyone has a reason for hating each other. And I think at the end of the day, we all just need to realize, like, this is what happens when even in the apocalypse, hating each other is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this game nails.
So here's my take on the Santa Barbara sequence.
Oh, I loved it.
So it ties into the ending as well. I think the moment that fucking broke me was when you go downstairs in the middle of the night in the new house and you get the guitar and you play Crooked Stills' song. The song that plays during the dance scene. So ever since that trailer came out of E3, that was E3 2018. Jesus Christ.
Can we talk about how that scene hit way harder when it actually hit than when, like, they framed that scene like, this is how the game's going to start. Like, no, this is going to be the end game cutscene, basically. And when that hit, it was like, oh, fuck. Like, when Dina looks at Ellie and goes, they should be terrified of you.
Yeah.
And we all kind of at E3 that year were like, okay. But in that moment in the game, it was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like, she wasn't kidding.
So I am fucking obsessed with that song. It's I believe the band is called Crooked Stills, but it's, at first I thought it was Gustavo Santaola's song. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like an official soundtrack song. It's not. It's by a band called Crooked. I could be wrong about that, but I know Crooked Stills is in there.
You know what? I'm gonna say that you're right.
Yes. So I am absolutely infatuated with that song. It's fucking great. There is a vocal track to one, but I really love the instrumental And that's the one that plays during that trailer. So when this scene plays, I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen because she picks up the guitar and she starts playing that song. And of course, that's Dina and Ellie's song. So this is why it goes into the flashback, blah, blah, blah. I started to recognize the notes that I was playing on that guitar. I'm like, I'm going to fucking lose it if it goes into that scene. And it did. And the way that it goes, and it's obviously it's just the trailer. At first, it's just the trailer. It's the E3 trailer. And then it gets into it, and then it goes into the incident that was previously mentioned in the beginning of the game.
With Seth calling Ellie a dyke.
Oh my God, you could fucking hear my heart break when Joel comes up.
Moment.
Oh God!
Continue. Sorry.
No, what you could hear it the moment Joel comes up and fucking protects her, and then Ellie's like, "Hey man, I don't need you. I don't need your fucking help." Fuck! I'm getting teary eyed right now. That shit fucking broke me. And I'm like, of course we have to go to Santa Barbara. Of course Abby has to fucking die because we left it on such a bad fucking note.
Of course, right? Ellie has to go. Like, Ellie had to. She had no choice, right? Yep. And that's what makes this game so great, is it makes you look. And then when the scene where she walks back on the farm and she's missing 2 fingers.
Oh, yeah, dude. Mm-hmm.
And she walks in that fucking house and no one is there.
Yeah.
And then she walks in that room where it's just her stuff. And she picks up that guitar and she can't even fucking play it anymore. And the only thing that made her happy over the 5 years from Joel lying to her through Joel dying was playing guitar.
Yep.
And then she can't even do that anymore. And it's like, what did this cost you? What did you lose because you wanted to kill somebody who had every right to kill Joel? She had every right to do so.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't make it right.
Oh, it's so well done. It's so smart to make us play both sides. One of my saddest deaths, by the way, was Manny getting that bullet to the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I loved Manny. And then all of a sudden he gets this fucking bullet. I was like, shit.
And Tommy's the one that did it.
My other moment that hit really hard was, so they hint really early on that Mel is pregnant. They make it pretty clear that Mel is pregnant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when she stabs Mel with that knife, the moment that knife hit her throat, I literally just sitting here on the couch, I was just like, oh, Ellie.
Oh, Ellie.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
oh no.
When you find out.
Oh, baby.
Oh, honey.
Oh.
That's what I just was like, oh, Ellie, no. And I started crying because I was like, Ellie didn't want to do that. She had no desire to kill either of those people.
So that perfectly sets up my next point, is the fact where everyone's like, well, it meant fucking nothing. She got to Abby. She killed everybody but Abby. Dude, look at what is happening to Ellie the entire fucking game. You can tell every single fucking kill is fucking weighing on her.
Fuck. When Jesse caught that bullet to the face, holy shit, I was not ready for that.
Yeah, that was.
Hear that, you run out, and all of a sudden Jesse just fucking right through the face, and she looks at him and has no time to like comprehend it. She just has to get behind the wall. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, I liked Jesse a lot.
Yeah, Jesse was
like, I thought Jesse was a great character, especially early on.
Mm-hmm.
When he's treating Ellie like one of the guys, I was like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Like I was so happy. And like that's the thing, is this game makes you like everyone. It does. It makes you give a shit about every single character in this game.
Right.
And they kill 85% of them.
So
you go, okay, cool.
Yeah. So
everyone that I actually love dies.
We got Abby in the water. We're mashing square. right? We're about to, she's like, life is fleeting, right?
Oh, when we're drowning Abby.
Yeah, and we get the flashback of Joel on the porch playing the guitar. Yeah. That moment doesn't make a lot of sense until later, for me.
When Ellie comes up to Joel.
Oh, I want to get into that moment.
So when Ellie goes back home and sees all of her shit in a separate room in the house that they built, or not literally, but like the house that they were in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ellie starts playing the guitar and she misses a couple strings because she doesn't have those fingers anymore, which I thought was like, oh, god damn. And it gets to this scene of Ellie and Joel. So Joel is sipping on some coffee, which I thought was a nice little throwback. And he's in there, he's on his porch playing guitar. And Ellie comes up and says a bunch of shit. They have some small talk about the coffee and about other things. And she says, hey, you took that from me.
Yeah.
You took my life could have fucking mattered. But you took that
my
from
meaning
me.
Away.
You took that from me. Like, I am and you got to understand, like, Ellie is probably feeling these things a lot more than a normal person because she's immune. She is an anomaly.
She watches every human get bitten and become infected, and then she has to put a bullet in their head. Because who knows, through that 5 years, how many people she had to put down.
Exactly. And so you're sitting there, and it gets to the idea that Joel is very concrete in his resolve. He's like, hey, if I had to do it again, I would. I don't feel bad about it at all. If I had to, I would. And
if the Lord gave me another chance, go back to that moment, I'd do it all again.
Fucking Troy Baker, man.
I'm about to cry right now. I'm literally about to cry right now just recapping that line because, like, act like you felt guilty at the end of the Teely one. You didn't. Yeah. There was no guilt there. When you drop that doctor, you drop potentially those other two doctors, you didn't have to, but, like, maybe you were me and you did.
I did. So I did every time. I don't give a fuck. You monster! Yeah. You want to see a monster, bitch? Bam!
You pick her up and you carry her out, and because at the end of Teely one, I was like, "That's my daughter."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I care so much about this person. I would do anything to make sure she's okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this game, you realize that by doing that, you hurt so many other people.
Yep.
And it all hits. And I want to talk about that ending.
So
this
is how I feel, is that scene on the porch ends with Ellie saying, I don't know if I can forgive you,
but I'll try.
But I want to try. And so that's why I feel like that image of Joel on the porch flashes in her mind when she's fucking killing Abby. Is what's the primary thing that conversation was about? What did they end on? Forgiveness. She wants to try and forgive Abby.
I have a different take on that scene.
Let's hear
it. So, this is why I think Ellie went on her revenge tour. Why she was like, I got to kill every last one of them, right?
Yeah.
Is that happened the night before? That was the last time she saw Joel. Right?
Yeah.
That's the last time she says, hey, Joel, like, what's going on with you, right?
Yeah.
Joel goes out on his patrol. Joel gets caught up. Also, he saved your life, man. That should be enough to forgive him. But I'm frustrated by that. But that's fine. Anyway, so Ellie, that's the last time she talked to Joel was that night. And she never forgave him for what he did to save her. She wanted so much for that immunity. She wanted so much for Last of Us 1 to matter. Last of Us 1 does not matter. That game is pointless as far as story goes in the second game. Like, she wanted so much for her life to mean something. And Joel took that away from her.
Right.
And she never forgave him for that. They make that very clear throughout the whole. When Ellie gets to when Ellie goes to the hospital, Joel shows up and is like, "Hey, why did you go here?" And Ellie hugs him and then pushes him away and is like, "Tell me the fucking truth."
Yeah.
Like, it never meant anything. Like, what? The first game literally meant jack shit. And that's the problem, is he lied to her and told her it did mean something. And when she realizes it doesn't, it hurts her. And then the last moment she has with Joel is like, I want to try to forgive you, right? And then the next day, he's dead. She watches him get murdered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, I have to fix this because I cared about one person in my entire life. And he's dead now. So, fuck everyone. Let's go get revenge. Tommy's the same way. Tommy cared about one person, and that was Joel. And the moment, it even calls that out at the end when Maria leaves Tommy. And he's like, Maria left me, but like, here's where they are.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
but the only person they care about is Joel. And Joel's a piece of shit. He really is. Joel fucking sucks. Abby had every right to put that goddamn fucking 9-iron through. Also, who picks a 9-iron? I'm really mad about that, by the way. So
right.
I'm really hot about the.
If you're gonna do it, use a driver, bro. Like
right. Like, put a driver through his head.
Yeah, but at the same time, like a 9-iron's like kind of more of like a sharp object. Like I get where you're coming from, but like the moment, like the shot of, okay, she just delivered the killing blow with the fucking 9-iron, and then it's like out of focus, but you can see the fucking brain matter like falling off of the. Like, she picked that for a reason.
Right.
Like, that shit was piercing skin.
Well, like she said to him in that moment, she's like, "You don't get to make this fast.
Yeah.
You don't get to make this easy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to make this as miserable as possible."
Well, and I think that's why we're seeing such a fucking vehement hatred for this game, is because, like, there's not, like, I'm not going to say that. There's a lot of reverence for Joel in this game, but that moment is very, very hard for a lot of people.
I realized Joel was the bad guy the first time I played Last of Us. Like, the moment he did, I was like, oh, so we're the bad guy the whole time.
We're the baddies.
I realized that immediately. I was like, okay, so we're a horrible piece of shit human, and we just did this. When I had to shoot her father in the head again, I was like, holy shit, like, this world is just fucked. Like, if anyone would have just had a conversation, like, if they would have just talked to Joel, like, that's a great scene too, is when Abby's dad is talking to Maria, and they're like, how do we tell him that this is what has to happen?
You're talking about Marlene. Like, no, you're talking about
Marlene. Sorry,
Marlene.
Marlene. I meant Marlene. Sorry.
No, you're good.
And they're having this conversation, and she's like, I'll go tell Joel. And she leaves. She's like, I can do it. And then Abby walks in and is like, you know what? If it was me, I would like you. I would expect you to do the surgery, to kill me. But, like, Abby, you say that, but, like, let's be honest. If it was you, you probably would have questioned that decision. And your father would have questioned that decision. Your father never would have killed his own daughter for the sake of saving humanity. He would have kept you alive.
Well, even
So,
Marlene was like, "What if it were Abby? Like, how would you feel?" And he never gave her a straight answer.
I hated that scene because she had that moment. She's like, "I'll go tell him." I was like, "Shut the fuck up, Marlene. Just go hide in your corner and just like leave this alone because it's not your decision. It's his decision at this point.
Yeah.
Like nobody did anything bad. Nobody did. Like, based on, if you want to look at everyone's story and why they hate each other, nobody did anything bad. But at the end of the day, we lost everyone because two people couldn't get over some bullshit.
Yep.
Very true. That's very true.
Abby and Ellie could not get over some bullshit. And because of that, Abby lost everyone. Like, look at that original crew that's at that moment where Abby puts that golf club through Joel's head. None of those people are still alive.
Yeah, they're all dead.
They're all gone.
Every one of those people is dead because of Ellie and Tommy. Right? And then if you look at Ellie, look at all those people that were there for her when Joel died. The only person that's still alive competently is Dina, because that's the person she's supposed to be with, and she should never have left. But like, Tommy can't even see out of one eye.
He's just
Jesse's
a shell.
got a bullet through the face. Like, every one of those people that she cared about are either dead or crippled, right? So it's infuriating because all they had to do was just talk to each other. They just had to take a minute and be like, you know what? Let's just kill this.
Yeah, let's just talk this out real quick.
Let's just have a moment and realize that, like, all my friends are dead because of you. All your friends are dead because of me. Can we just, maybe not keep killing each other? Wouldn't have been that hard.
Look, man, it's a very human story. It's very complex. It deals with a lot of emotions, a lot of hard emotions, a lot of hard pills to swallow. A lot of people don't want to say oh, I wouldn't have made that decision.
Yeah.
Me personally. It's like, really? Me personally? You've been through a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up.
Like,
don't make this about you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about you. It's about just the story that they wanted to tell. And it's a very human tale. Yeah. Like, it's a human tale about consequences and handling things and all sorts of stuff. And the way that I see it is that we could be here talking for the next fucking 3 hours about this title.
Right? No, honestly, like, I'm like, we're done, but we're not done. Like, we keep talking about this stupid game.
And the thing is like, I think that this is a game that I'm going to keep coming back to, like the first game, exactly. And I'm going to get something new. I kind of equate it to the way that I love Evangelion. It's messy. It's definitely messy, but at the same time, like, it has a poignant message to say,
and it has its what's the word I'm trying to? It has its importance.
It has its purpose.
Yeah, it has its purpose.
Yep.
So I want to talk about the first game for like 15 seconds.
Go ahead.
Just bear with me.
Go ahead.
So I finished that game and I refused to play it again. I did not play the first game again until it was 5 years later. It was when I was hired by PlayStation. It was when I was hired by PlayStation. I was like, you know what? I wanted to do this again. But that first game, like, I remembered every moment. When I played it the second time through, I was like, she's going to die. He's going to die. This is going to happen. Da, 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 da. Like, the second time through that game was pointless to me because the first time I played it, I remembered every moment. This game, the second time through, the moment, like, I just went through the Joel death scene. I was like, holy shit. Like, this is so much different the second time around. Like, you think about it, and you, like, when the moment you get the controller with Ellie, you're like, or with Abby, you're like, all right, cool. Yeah, let's go murder this dude.
Yeah.
Like,
let's go kill this fucking piece of shit, dude.
Yeah. Like, that's the way you feel the moment you get that controller with Abby when she's in Jackson.
Yeah.
And like that scene where he goes, I'm Joel, and everyone perks up and they're like, you act like you almost know him. And she shoots him in the leg. Let's be honest. If that's anything where we're playing as Joel and Ellie, we have no hesitation to shoot that human being in the leg.
It's true.
And that's what this game does so well, is it makes us love the villain who's not even a villain. She just wanted revenge. It's so goddamn good. At the end of the day, I just want to stress this. It's so goddamn good.
Agreed.
It really
definitely is. It definitely. No, I totally agree with you. And I think that, like, I have personal, like, problems with, like, how the way the story is told. Like, I don't think it has the greatest pacing. But, I mean, I don't really think that the first game did either. Like, I think the first game has problems too. But we don't want to talk about problems with the first game. No, we don't want to do that. We only want to shit on the second game. So I totally agree with you. I think that this is, it's not really, it's very obviously a story that's been told in video games like plenty, but I don't think it's ever been told at this caliber before. Like, I think that the way that they introduce, like, their own way of telling this story is very compelling, and it's very poignant, and it really, like video games are so fucking hard to tell, like, a super good story with, like, because, like, there's that great term called a ludonarrative dissonance, where it doesn't, the story and the gameplay don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in this case, and a lot of people are using that as a criticism towards this game, is like, oh, well, it's just a revenge tale and it doesn't make any sense and it doesn't matter at the end of the day because, you know, of the ending. And it's like, well, I mean, it kind of does, because you can kind of see on Ellie's face, like, she doesn't like what she's doing. Like, fucking sneak up and do a sneak kill on a WLF member and look at her face. Yeah. Like, her face is disgusted. It's disgusted. She doesn't want to fucking do this shit anymore. Like,
when she stabs Vita Girl in the neck, and she's like, that was stupid.
Exactly.
She felt so bad in that moment.
Exactly.
She had no desire to stab Vita Girl in the neck.
She's like, I just killed the only fucking Vita Girl in the world.
Right? Like, no one else is playing Hotline Miami right now, so fuck, that sucks. But, like, the moment where she stabs her and she goes, that was stupid, and she means that both ways. She means that towards herself, like, I should not have stabbed this chick in the neck. But she also means that to the other girl, where she was like, look, I told you, like, you can live through this. I just need you to tell me something.
Yeah.
Like, right? And then she tells her what she needs to know, and then she pulls out a knife. And Ellie's like, I want to keep living, so let's do this. And she stabs her. And then when you meet her later with this game is bad. Oh my god. You talk to her, you like roll up, and she's like, oh hey, and you're like, that's the bitch I just stabbed in the neck 14 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's not do this, please. Like, it's all broken. It's supposed to make us feel the way we feel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bad game.
Not at all.
And everyone that says it is wrong. It's also it's a game that makes you question your morality.
And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that, though. Nobody wants to take any fucking self-accountability. Nobody wants to look at themselves and be like, oh, okay, I could be better. I could be better. No, everyone is fucking perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that's the way that I see it too, is like, oh, they're fucking pushing this narrative on me. It's like, well, I mean, have you looked in the mirror lately?
Yeah.
Maybe you got a fucking problem.
Maybe you need to look inside yourself a little.
And if you don't, then hey, maybe you don't like this game.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's totally fine.
Know, and that's what made this game so great when I finished it. As I looked at it, I said, you know what? Everything's fucked right now, right?
Big time.
This game at this time means a lot to a lot of people.
That's true.
And we need to respect that fact. Like, have you guys ever played a video game where a transgender character was prominent?
No.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Right?
No, you're right.
And the way they handled Lev was so good.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like, that whole story arc through the overcross of the weird skyscraper thing where Abby almost dies to the, like, also that after that, when you're going through that building, we haven't been inside before. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, this is about to get weird. We're about to fight some fun infected. Like, you do all of that, and then you have that moment where Yara dies, and then saves you. Even still, like, Yara is dead, and Yara, I think she kills Isaac, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she shoots Isaac,
Yep.
and
you're
then
right.
and before that, though, when Lev goes, your people did this, and she looks right at him, grabbed him by his shoulders, and said,
Hey,
"You are my people."
you are my people.
And that was the moment of this game. I think that's the most important moment of this game because it doesn't matter whether you're LGBTQ, whether you're straight, whatever. We are all each other's people. And that moment meant that much to me. Like, I was like, fuck. I literally looked at Asher because Asher was sitting there in that moment. I was like, fuck this game. Like, come on. Like, I knew I was going to cry. I cried in the first game. But I was like, fuck this game. Like, it meant the world to me in that moment. And I think that's what this game does well, is it brings people together.
Yeah.
It makes us realize that we're all pieces of shit, let's be honest. We're also all really good. And we just have to find those connections that bring out the best in us.
Yep.
And I think that's what this game does better than any other game I've ever played. And also, this game is just fucking awesome. We didn't even get into the fact that it's fucking dope to just play it.
Yeah.
Because it's fun as shit to just play it. Oh my god, like rope jump kills and stealth kills and that silence SMG. Woo!
Oh yeah. Fuck. And it's really nice during the New Game Plus too.
Oh yeah, right? It's really nice in that New Game Plus.
I was only gonna do easy mode to do the collectible run to get the platinum. But I was looking through like all the difficulties and it was like, oh, Survivor Plus. And then if you look at, because I played the game on Survivor, and I looked at fucking.
That explains why you were like 10 hours behind me.
Bro, that game sits you down and fucking spanks you. It
I
does
played
not
on
take
normal
no shit.
because I played on normal, but like you were like, I'm hanging out with Jesse, and I'm like, dude, you are so much slower than me. Dude, I was 10 hours ahead of you at that point.
That's wild because we had the same playtime.
I know.
You had 33,
you
right?
No, I finished at 21:56.
Oh, you said 21?
21:56 is when I finished.
I could have swore you said 30.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, 22. Yeah, I ended that game with 32 hours.
No, that when you text me and you're like, I'm on this chapter, and I was like, well, what does that mean? Because I didn't want to spoil anything for you. And you were like, I'm hanging out with Jesse, and I was like, oh my God, you're way slower than me. You were like, literally, like at that point, I was with Abby and like in the aquarium.
Oh,
like I was like, how are you so far behind me?
Dude,
like,
Survivor mode is fucking it. Dude, it doesn't pull no punches.
Didn't know you were on a different difficulty. I was on normal, and I assumed you were, and that's why I was really confused. But knowing that you were on hard difficulty now, that makes a ton of sense.
I love it. That's what makes The Last of Us for me. Like I played through the first one in preparation for the second game, and I only played on hard mode, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh, you played hard and not grounded? Did you play grounded?
Well, no, I have the platinum in the original game. I did, and I 100%ed all of the trophies for that game. Not only just the base game, I got all the multiplayer trophies. I beat Grounded Mode. I beat Grounded Mode Plus. I did everything in the original Last of Us.
That first game on Grounded is a very special experience.
It
Like,
fucking is, dude.
No, when you can't find weapons and you run these things and you're like, oh my God. Like, that first game on Grounded is super awesome. And I'm going to do a playthrough on this game of Super Hard, but at this point, I just want to get that platinum. So, like, when I started my new game Plus, I was like, normal, fuck it. Like, I just want to get through this thing. Also, I'm making hella good time. But no, that first game on Grounded was a special experience.
What's fucking cool about that new game Plus is that it's harder. Game, it says in the description it's like slightly harder than Survivor. I'm like, fuck yeah. Sign me the fuck up, bro. Hell yeah.
I feel like I'm going to play this game a few times because I feel like this game deserves multiple playthroughs.
Oh, yeah.
The first one didn't. That's the first one. You play through it, you finish it, and you're like, you know what? That was amazing. I don't ever want to play this again.
Yeah.
That was me, at least, the first time. I've honestly only played through Tilu 2 or Tilu 1 twice. I played through it once the moment it came out. I played through it a second time in 2018 on Grounded mode.
Yeah.
That's the only times I've ever actually finished that game. This game, the moment I finished it, I was like, I want to play this again. I want to experience killing people I suddenly cared about. Like, I want to know. Like, dude, Manny's a fucking boss, dude. Manny catches a bullet to the face he didn't deserve. Like, I was like, God damn. Like, every single one of them we kill. And I was like, I don't like that fact.
Yeah.
The Nora. Oh, I will say this too. Like, when Ellie comes back from the Nora situation.
Yeah.
And she's broken in that moment.
Yep.
She's shaking. She's crying. Like that. Like I was like, oh my God, that one hit hard. Like, I can't even find words. But she walks in that door and her hand is shaking. And I was like, oh, fuck, what did you do? I know you already infected. Also, when she just looks down and sees the spores and is like, you know what? Let's have a party. I'm going to take you down to this infection zone. I'm fine. Yeah. You're not. Let's have a good time.
And the slow prompt to press square.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude. Like, it just doesn't happen. And then you see the little prompt, the little button fade in. And you press it once, and then you think that it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do it once. No, it comes up again and again and again, and it's like, oh, God damn, you're really twisting the knife in there. Yeah.
That game made you question everything you were doing every step of the way. Absolutely. And that's what makes it so fucking good, is because how often, like, for me, for example, like, every night I play Call of Duty and I just shoot a bunch of people in the face. And I laugh because I assume I'm just killing 12-year-old kids who are horrible people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Racist 12-year-olds.
Every person, at least every named character I killed in this game, I felt bad about it. I questioned it. I was like, they all have their reasons. So who am I to be like the angel of death? Right? Like,
right, yeah. Who are you to be judge, jury, and executioner?
You know, and that's what made that moment with Abby so great, is because he looked at her and said, your people did this. Like, your people killed it, and she looked right at him and said, you are my people. And that is I want to say that's the best moment in this game. Hands down. That's where this game was at its finest, because those two were absolute enemies. Think about how many scars. They made it very clear. Abby was like the scar killer.
Right.
Abby was the best at killing scars.
Top of the top.
Like, when Isaac was like, I need you to lead the assault, her and Manny, like, you guys are going to go in. Like that. And the fact that she found someone and looked right at him and said, you are my people. Like, that is where that game just, that's where it hits. That's the best moment. It really is. I can think of so many other moments that are great, but that is the moment where I look at it and then go, you know what? This is the best moment of this game.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's a good place to end it.
Yeah,
Right there.
I think so. Nathan, we want to thank you so much. We know you're a busy guy and you've got tons of PlayStation things to do. So we want to
asshole. You just get games and you get all this cool shit and you get to fucking hang out with Sony people. You get to go to press events and see all this shit before anybody else. You fucker. You got to play fucking FF7 remake before me. All this shit. I'm not jealous.
That I did get to play that very early. But.
God damn, I was, dude, when he fucking messaged me and was like, bro, it's good.
Oh, I did. I
was like, yeah, dude, yeah, bro.
I forgot I did that. I forgot I was like, by the way, I text Cole, I was like, by the way, you're going to love this game. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, it's really good. Like, I played it. You're going to be really happy. Like
that fucking, dude, that platinum is going to be the end of me, though. Jesus Christ.
No desire to get that platinum.
Yeah, none either.
Zero. I have no desire to play that game a second time.
Same.
So, unlike this game, where the moment I finished it, I was like, I need to play this again.
Yeah. Once again, Nathan, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming on and shooting the shit with us.
We'll have to do it again.
Yes, we'll have to definitely do it again.
How long, guys? How long did we go for?
About 2 hours.
Oh shit!
Jesus Christ,
sorry.
are you serious?
Yeah,
we could go for another hour if you want to.
Yeah, we could, but we're kind of pressed for time here. So thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. We enjoyed every bit of it.
I really do appreciate you guys for letting me go in and do my thing. So
of course,
yeah, for sure.
I love this game. I can't wait for Ghost, by the way, in like 2 weeks. So Ghost of Tsushima is going to be a hell of a video game.
I hope so. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. Amazing.
I just think.
What do you mean? What do you mean you hope you're wrong?
Dude, that game looks like the most fucking generic thing ever. And that comes from comes from someone who fucking lives, breathes, eats everything Japanese.
Yeah.
I have a desire to play it, but man, is it lower. It's like on the lowest aspect. We
have to end this because we've talked about that. I want to scream at you right now, but I'm going to hold myself back.
Hey man, Sucker Punch! I'm fucking excited to see another title from Sucker Punch. It's a new IP. I'm dude, ecstatic about that. But that's pretty much it. I don't know, and it could be like all these fuckboys on the internet being like, oh, I'm sure I'm gonna replace this game with Ghost of Tsushima, and it's like, well, I mean that's a weird opinion.
It's a very good video game.
I said, I would love to be wrong. I can't fuck it. And you know what?
Cool.
It's another Sony game, so I'm sure it's going to be fucking great. I'm just so tired of open world games, man.
Cole, it's a very good video game. Just take a deep breath.
It is. I'm sure
you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I haven't played it, but it's a very good video game. You're going to be okay.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I love you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch.
I want to do this again. You guys